I think I wanna marry you. Just say I do.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Behind the Veil, a show that provides insight into the world of weddings. I'm your host, Keith Willard. Welcome back to the show. Today, we're going to be talking about planning for the unexpected. And I'm not talking about as a wedding guest, as a wedding couple, as your planner. Something unexpected happens to your planner or to your florist or to one of the other vendors that is central to making sure that your day is amazing. What do you do? Who do you talk to? How do you plan for that? And so we actually have one of our favorite guests. Her name is CeCe Todd. I'll bring her on shortly, but let me first bring on my co-host, Marcy Gutenberg, with an affair to remember by Marcy. Hi, Marcy.
Hello.
By the way, thank you for talking about unexpected. Thank you for taking over the show last week.
Oh, please. I totally forgot to introduce myself last week. I had a lot of fun. Braun was amazing. And we had a lot of great insight. So I thought it went very well.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Because, when we talk about the unexpected, sometimes it is like that. It's like, death, dying, traffic accidents, boob job, whatever, something unexpected happened. Well, maybe the boob job is not so unexpected, but anyway, but things come up. And that's the thing is that, as life, and unfortunately, it's sometimes hard to get that point across to your clients, but there's nobody that I know could get that point across better than CeCe Todd. Hello, CeCe. Welcome to the show.
Hi,
CeCe. I'm sorry. I just had an unexpected boob job. So that sorry, I'm late.
Oh my God. You guys made me laugh so hard before we started the show that I was like, oh, we got to go live. We got to go live. Like, oh my God.
Almost missed our cue, Keith.
I know. Oh my God, we were actually 10 seconds late, but whatever. Who's counting? Anyway, but CeCe, you've been in the industry for a long time. And by the way, so if you want to see CeCe in person,
that's a lot.
I know. Wedding MBA, Las Vegas, this November. She's speaking. Yes. So hoop to CeCe for that. Yeah. So first of all, CeCe, welcome back to the show. You're one of our favorites. Obviously, we love having you on the show because you're so real and you tell it like it is, but you're also amazing at what you do. So it's a little difficult for somebody to say something bad about you because you're like, I'm gonna tear it out. So
they still try though, but I subscribe to the 8 Mile mentality. Y'all remember that movie? To where I'll tell you everything horrible about me just so that you don't have anything left to say.
Yes. Well, that's how my husband and I met. Actually, our first night, we actually said everything. We're like, you don't want to date me because of all of these things.
Yep.
And he said the same thing. And 18 years later, here we are. Oh, and plus this. Bling, bling. This thing. Little bling, bling. Yeah. Little nothing.
It's beautiful. It really is. I saw it in person and it is gorgeous.
Beautiful.
I love my ring. Anyway, but as event professionals, we really do take our lives out of the world most of the time. We put on the smile constantly, no matter what's happening in our personal life.
Yes.
But sometimes things happen and you can't help it. You have to stop and go, okay, I got to go handle this personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a variety of responses from your clients. A variety of responses. I just got really lucky because unfortunately, this last week, I had somebody very close to me pass away. And so we just had a lot to do. And then, of course, there's the emotional stuff that happens. And I really don't want to say beef or chicken after I have to say, no, crematorium or burial. Right. No, there's got to be a line that says, this is my personal life and this is my professional life. How do you even start that conversation, CeCe? How do you go, you know what? I have personal things that I've got to do. I have to take care of this. I'm so sorry. Can you give me a couple of days? Is that enough? Or do you find that clients try to push that?
I don't even think that I think it has to become part of your culture, whether, let me say the best way to say this. It's not their business. It's really none of their business. Like when you go to a department store and the doors are closed, they don't have to tell you, they don't get into details on why they're closed that day or why they closed earlier that day.
Right.
So bottom line is it's really none of their business why you need that. We feel obligatory to tell them because we feel
Yes.
like we have to step away from them. And it's usually, let me tell you, y'all gonna like this answer, but it's usually because it's our fault because we didn't set the right barriers in place. So you should go into every client with that kind of mindset that what if somebody dies that I need to step away?
Right.
And if they don't, great. If they do, it's just kind of you're already making a place for that transition. And what I mean by that is just already setting boundaries with your client. If you're accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if it's only you and only you are handling stuff with the client, and you don't have a team that you're already inserting in your meetings and your conversations and your emails, like all that starts from day one and transcends all the way through your client care. So then if I need to step away, they don't even know I've stepped away because I've already put all these other things in place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Totally.
You know, but
Yes.
you know, like, but I'm like a one-person machine here, and Marcy's a one-person machine there. You know, and it's lucky that we have other vendors and partners that we work with that we can rely on. Like the tasting that I was supposed to go to. Luckily, my florist, Tyler. By the way, Tyler Black Cachet Events. He was able to step in because he does so many events with me. He understands how I work and the questions that I would be asking. But I didn't have somebody that I could just call and say, "Hey, I gotta go. I need somebody else to jump in on that tasting." I mean, it's lucky that I had that relationship.
Well, I feel like those are two different things too. So let's break that down. There is the present that you need a human to step in and do a job that you can't physically be there for. But then there is, like, let's be real, how needy our clients are, like through voicemail, through email, through Marco Polo, through how quickly you respond. So those are two totally different things. And yes, what I'm going to tell you and Marcy is that the caliber of business y'all are at, I don't even know why y'all still one-man shows, okay? Like, y'all need people. I don't care if it's a VA, if it's a pseudo. Like, this is my assistant, Kelly, which is really you, but Kelly can do all the dirty work. Whatever you need that. I mean, listen, like if we went somewhere and there was one, like when you walk into a law firm, okay, and there's one sole lawyer by himself, not even a receptionist or anybody. You're like, but then, you know,
that's my divorce attorney. What are you talking about?
Yeah, at the O.J. Simpson trial, they brought in 125 lawyers, and all of a sudden you were like, shit just got real.
Yeah,
You know, whether it's perceived or reality, that's a whole different show. Y'all need more people. But
100%. Yeah.
I think that, like I said, the first part, which is communication with your client, that can be already set up prior to this.
Yes.
There's really no answer, none at all, except for what you did, Keith. Period. This is why you need good vendor relationships.
Make it work.
This is why you need peers and not competitors. That's why it is.
Thank you.
I always subscribe to the mafia mentality. Y'all have heard me say this before, to where I will help everybody, do anything for everybody, because I need all of y'all on my Rolodex to where when blank hits the fan for me, I got people I can just start calling and like, you owe me. So I need for you to step in for me.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I almost called one of my friends, Anna, who's an event planner, Anna Hess, because she's also worked with me a bunch of times. I almost called her to say, hey, can you do this tasting? If Tyler wasn't able to do it, Anna would have been my next call. And then after that would have been Katana. And then after that would have been Marcy. And then I mean, you know, there's a what did they, don't you remember there used to be a phone list? What was that?
Phone tree.
Phone tree, right?
That's right.
It's like a phone tree for like when the shit happens. It's like, I think us as an event industry need to have kind of a phone tree kind of built into our life just to make sure that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah. I also think that we're very yes people, but I've learned to say no, or I've learned to, if I can't do something, I would rather under promise and over deliver. And set up boundaries, and I set time blocking.
Wait, did you say like over promise, under deliver?
No,
under promise.
Okay, I thought she said. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna replay that because I swear
under
you just
promise. over deliver.
Okay, just FYI.
And the reason why is because your clients are going to love you for going that extra mile.
But they have to know that you went.
They're not expecting it.
But they have to know that you went the extra mile. That's the one thing. Is that we do a lot of stuff without people knowing.
You tell them. I mean, I when I do something a little bit extra for somebody, I give them what I'm giving them, and then I'm saying, and I gave you this too.
Always. Do y'all remember when the big tornado, hurricane a couple of years ago took out all the Miami ports?
Yes.
Miami was shut down.
Yes.
Well, brides don't put two and two together that all of your flowers pretty much come from Colombia or South America through the port of Miami, which was no longer open. Okay.
Oh my God.
I remember.
Right. So everybody was like, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm just going to pull it out my ass. And I did. I ordered everything from out of Chicago, out of Europe, which I paid 20 times more, but got it delivered. I mean, we were going to Trader Joe's where we needed to. But don't you think that on wedding day, I wasn't like, and by the way, did you know that the port of Miami was shut down?
And I got your flowers.
But did they understand it? Did they really understand the fact that you literally made miracles happen?
They did, because the way I'm with Marcy. I very clearly post, never do it pre, you don't want to panic them. Right. But I very clearly post was like, so this is what almost happened, but it didn't because you hired me. Right.
And that's true. It's because of your relationships. I mean, I tell people, like, you hire me for my Rolodex.
Amen.
It's part-time. Part of it is, knowledge, but the other part is Rolodex.
So not your Rolex. Your Rolodex.
Rolodex. Yeah, nobody has a Rolex right now. Well, no, my husband. I mean, anyway, but that's the thing, is that when you get into this business, I mean, I think most of us were at servers or bartenders or some type of service industry before we got into this. I think everybody was into that. And so we are yes people constantly. So CeCe, when you talk about setting those boundaries, when somebody is first getting into this business, it's really hard for them to set that boundary, to say, okay, you got to say, okay, I'm available 8 to 5, period, Monday through Friday. I do weddings on Saturday, so I try to not answer the phone on Sunday. But how do you do that without coming across as, I got your money, but don't call me?
The best time to reach me is.
There you go. I'm with Team Marcy. Best time to reach me is. And I mean, my contract, it doesn't say times to call me, but it clearly states and you get one additional meeting. Any other meeting outside of that is X amount of dollars per hour. And that if you have, and I always say in our consult, if you have any questions, feel free to email us.
Yes.
Or reach out to Jacob or Kat or one of the, it's all in the vernacular that I use, that just, they no longer, I mean, they don't have my cell phone number. They have the business number, so it's very clear. But before, I did want to say one more thing, that we kind of traveled off this whole in-person thing, Keith. I will tell you that I swear I'm not just harping on you and Marcy being solopreneurs over there, because I think solopreneur is a dirty word. We weren't meant to do it all. Ever. And I always say, people that think that they were meant to do it all are just cocky. No, I'm just kidding. We've got to have help. And the best example I learned this lesson on was I had to go to the emergency room on wedding day one day. I had a horrible they still don't know what it was, but some kind of stomach infection that we didn't know what caused. And I didn't feel good when I came in. I went to the bathroom. I came out and I passed out.
No.
This was on Saturday morning while we're loading up and trying to get to the wedding.
No.
So they get me on the couch in my office. I am not responsive. I'm kind of coming in and out. They call the paramedics. I mean, what do you do? What do you do? You know what I'm saying? We got to be there. We're supposed to be leaving now, and the paramedics are rolling up. Paramedics are there doing sternum rubs on me, and I was like, ow!
I got a wedding.
He was like, I just need for you to be alert. I was like, I just want to take a nap. And he's like, clearly I had to go to the hospital.
Right.
What do you do? Okay.
What do you do?
In that situation, not meaning to be like wah, 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 but there was probably nobody who could come through with me. I mean, that at that late hour,
Right.
there was no matter all the favors I've done in all the world, there was probably the odds that somebody wasn't going to be in the middle of their own wedding.
Right.
You know, was laying in bed, hadn't showered, like it just the odds were nothing. But because I had an epic team, okay,
Right.
like I have a lead designer that isn't the only one there. You know, she might not design exactly the way I want to, but thank God 90% of it was
It's gonna be
done.
done.
And I do have a lead designer that push comes to shove can do it.
Right.
I do have at that time I had SK, who was my events manager, who knows how the event needs to run, and I had a very good relationship with the planner to where she knew exactly what I was supposed to be delivering and what was coming. So the three of them
Right.
plus my team, they got it done, and I'm sitting in the ER. And so
Amazing.
minus, like, I think it's so detrimental. I say this a lot. It is so detrimental as a new entrepreneur that you think that your cross to bear is to do it by yourself starting up. You know what I'm saying?
God, I don't want it to be a cross. I'm just thinking financially. It's,
It is.
financially, it's difficult to do it, with having multiple people.
It is very difficult, but it doesn't have to be multiple or none. Like, just have one person. Just have.
I have a silent.
Yeah.
I have a silent person that I meet. And we talk about every day, and we talk about like what I've done, what I haven't done, and vice versa. So that like if we ever need to pitch in for each other, I've got somebody, they've got somebody.
Well,
right.
but
not necessarily that they're going to do the work, but
right.
at least they can pick up the ball with a few calls to get things rolling.
Well,
right.
And I'm just going to say, as an event planner, I'm typically there from 8 a.m. until midnight. I mean, I am there conducting constantly.
Right.
And so if I had just a product, if I just needed to bring a product and put it in place, that's different. I mean, I have to be a personality that is there all day directing traffic, making sure mom doesn't kill daughter, that stepmom stays sober, that dad doesn't have a third wife. I mean, I'm I'm there to try to make sure that the day goes well, and plus all the vendors and everything goes perfectly. So how do I replace myself in that scenario?
You need associate planners. You should have associate planners all day long. You listen, I'm a floral designer and I get 90, I swear, emails a month of people want to intern as me as a planner. And I'm like, I'm not a planner. So I know people like get interns, Keith.
But interns are I didn't want to finish that sentence, but because I'm being recorded. But interns don't know what they don't know. No. And that's the problem.
But interns don't know what they don't know. Been with you for 3 months is better than you not showing up.
Yeah, but after 3 months, they're like, I'm going to start my own business. See ya.
Well, that's what. Then you hire them as an associate planner, and you pay them like 7 cents an hour,
right?
So that they can earn their biscuits. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like, you have got to, for any other reason, and I am a firm believer of if you build it, they will come. The whole Field of Dreams. Like. If you hire somebody, you will make enough money to pay for them. And when the right person is on your team, my husband always says this, when you have the right person on the right seat in the bus,
right,
it runs perfectly. But people can be mismatched. So, if you hire somebody to be your associate planner, they should be paying for themselves. Do you see what I'm saying?
100%.
You should be able to now do 2 weddings on some weekends that you're making more money on because your associate planner maybe can bounce back and forth between the 2 of them, or you can't. Do you see what I'm saying?
You just said my favorite thing: make money
and test them out. Test them out. I mean, like have them come and do a couple of events with you. See if it's a good fit for you, because rather than bringing somebody on and then having to get rid of them, obviously you want to find somebody who's going to be not just a fit for but for the entire team that you already have.
Okay, so let's talk about the opposite side of it. Okay, so let's say that something you have an amazing team in place, right? The world crashes, you have to go to the ER. Couple of days later, the person, your client comes to you and goes, I really was disappointed that you weren't able to be there. How do you respond?
Well, first of all, y'all never gonna find me back again because I'm gonna sound like I just a broken robot. But you set the expectation from day one.
Right.
Keith and Marcy, both of y'all, when you are a solopreneur, all they know is you. All they expect is you, and all they will demand is you. I don't care if they are pretend people that you have on your team.
But you're CeCe Todd, honey bunny. I mean,
but I've been like this for a long time. So, almost every wedding planner I know in my in my world has some type of an associate planner. So they talk about the team. They talk about.
Well, I talk about the team, but you're CeCe Todd. I mean, and it's like being Keith Willard. When they say, "Oh, but CeCe Todd was going to be at my wedding,"
I didn't promise you that. I never said that.
Like for me, I always say like things like, oh, let me check with my designer, or let me check with the production department, or they don't need to know.
I wish I had that. I don't have that. I need to do that.
They don't need to know which source I'm getting something from. They just need to know.
Love it.
They just need to know the reality that I'm not sitting in my office printing out their invitations and giving it to them. There's a production team, there's a designer, there's all these facets that go into it behind me.
And in that situation, the one that you were just talking about, I believe in full transparency. First and foremost, I never guarantee my clients that I'm going to be there. I always tell my clients I'm going to do I tell them I do my best to be at every wedding. I do my best to deliver every bouquet, but I let them know in advance. There have been times that I haven't been able to, whether circumstances or not, but I'm going to do my best. Like, I'm full transparency. And the day that I went to the hospital, my team, I was like, did they ever ask where I was? And they were like, no. It was like they didn't even hear. They didn't even notice I wasn't there. And it wasn't until after the wedding that was over, because my team was just so flawless and so good. And it just seemed so like, this is just normal for us. And it wasn't until afterwards that the bride said something about like, oh my God, I just realized I never saw CeCe. And they were like, well, she had to go to the ER today. And
and then they're like, oh my God, what? Is she okay?
Was more upset. Like, she texted me at the hospital because she was so worried about me. So because of just full transparency.
I love that.
But not until after the wedding was over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And everything had already been delivered great. So, I mean, I just do a lot of CYA.
Well, I have to tell you this. So this last week when I was, after all of this horrible sadness, my husband's like, okay, we're going to New York. So he's like, off we go. And then of course, what happens while we're in New York is my website completely crashes. Oh my God, they sent out all of these notices that, the JavaScripts were going to be updated. And if you had any issues, you call this 800 number, please. I barely know how to push live on this damn thing. I mean, I'm going to know who to call on the JavaScript. I'm just so lucky because I actually just hired a social media person that also happens to be a computer whiz, Amanda McMaster. Hello, Amanda out there, McMaster. Anyway, and so this was the first time that I ever had somebody really that I could just call and say, hey, I'm desperate. And she was like, I got it. There is nothing better than that. I got it. Right? Oh my God, it's the best thing ever. That's the best thing ever. Wow. I mean, it was worth its weight in gold to hear, I got it.
So that's another person on your team.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Oh my God, I just literally brought Amanda on like 4 weeks ago. Thank God, because I would have just been I
saw your posts.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, please. It's incredible that she was able to just like, done. Okay, gotcha.
And I want you to take that feeling and everybody listening, take that feeling and multiply it times like 1,000,000. I mean, we came into this job because this is something we loved and we wanted to do.
Right.
When you stay a solopreneur, you are overstressed, over pissed, over broke, over running around, over angry. You know what I'm saying?
Over pissed. I love it.
You're split in 1,000 different ways. Usually at some point, your love for what you started doing, you hate now. Right. You're working all the time. Your family hates you because you're gone all the time. And money is important. Don't get me wrong. But
I was about to say, hello.
But there is a point that I realized that I wanted my life to be better than what I was doing. And so for the reasons of my life to be better and to love my job more, I hired people. I then realized that it made me better at what I was doing. So therefore I brought in more money. Let me tell you this. Okay. Y'all about to get it. Y'all about to get it.
Because you're more efficient?
You're more efficient. You're more efficient. Y'all are about to get like a master class. I teach this all the time in why you should have a team. Because listen to what I tell people all the time.
Right.
Is as the business owner, there are only jobs that I can do, period. Nobody else can do them but me. Okay. Or only jobs I want to do. Okay. And so what is our hourly rate? If you haven't figured out what your hourly rate is, whether you charge it or not, you should know. And not
$12.50.
Right. Not that you would charge somebody an hourly rate, but what is your time worth?
Right.
So for me, my hourly rate is around $450, $500 an hour. Okay.
Which makes sense. Absolutely.
So, right. And I do tell people every once in a while, go take how much time you spent on an event, multiply it times your hourly rate, and what did you get paid? How close did you come? That's a whole nother session, but that's good.
Right.
So
totally different.
That's my hourly rate. Okay. So every time I go and I pay bills and I answer emails for the company, let's say those two things take me an hour. How much money did it just cost me to answer emails and take the trash out?
$450. Like $500.
So now, on the other hand, I can hire a VA, a college student, or somebody wants to break into the wedding industry and pay them, God forbid, $17 to $20 an hour to answer emails. Now I can go focus my time on getting more clients because that's the only I can do that because of the personality.
Right.
So now when I'm spending $500 an hour doing that, it's worth it because it's bringing in $30,000 of business. But every time I go and I do some menial task that someone else I could pay an hourly rate to do, tell yourself that you are spending your hourly rate on it. And no email is, unless it's from Ed McMahon telling me I won the lottery.
Ed McMahon.
No email
Star search.
$500. Do you see what I'm saying? So
totally.
Change your mindset. Change your mindset.
That's the hard part, is changing the mindset. I mean, I've been in business for 8 years on this most recent thing. And so 8 years, and it is still hard for me to think, I'm not donating my time. I'm like, I'm not a not-for-profit. I'm a for-profit. I need to start thinking like a for-profit. It is still really, really hard, even at this point. And, it's not like I'm not well known. It's not like I don't have years of, 5 stars and blah, 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 blah to rely on, but it's a mental thing.
It is.
It's a mental thing. I mean, there is something in your brain that sometimes you just got to go, I got to get over myself. I really got to get over. I got to know my worth. And we talked about this, and we did talk about this. It's like,
not only do you have to know your worth, Marcy's dead on with that, but you have to know that nobody will do it as good as you, and that's freaking okay.
Right?
It's okay. Your sense of peace and calmness and happiness is worth somebody doing it almost as good as you. It's okay. It's okay, because still, I still look at my people's subpar level that isn't quite what I would deliver is still better than anybody else's par level. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
You just have to be, you got to, just because it's worked for 8 years doesn't mean it should stay that way forever. We grow. I mean, think about this. If Sam Walton would have just said, you know what, I got this one little store that I'm running by myself, and look, I'm making some money. Do you think he ever said, I can't hire anybody else? Or
no, I gotta be in the store all by myself 24 hours a day.
Imagine we would have Tom Mart right now and not Walmart. But that man was like, no, I need growth. I need more people. I need more branches. I need more. and distribution and more
Right.
cities, and he started at the same. But if he would have always have stayed in that one little store in that one little town and
Right.
been like, this is working pretty good for me,
Yep.
you know, we wouldn't have what we have today. So we're not meant to stay stagnant. Just because something works doesn't mean it's supposed to just stay that way forever. This business evolves too much. We evolve too much.
That's true.
You have to grow.
And think of it this way. I mean,
true.
like a lot of companies, I mean, not just in our industry, but in every other facet of what's going on right now, everything else is raising their rates, and you're having to spend more time searching for products and searching for more things. That's your time. Your time is valuable. It's, it's worth something. So you can't just do it. You can't work for free.
No.
Well, let's talk about that. So let's talk about working for free. I mean, how many times have we gotten somebody that said, if we can get a mock-up of this, that would be great. Can you design this for me before before we buy?
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's hard, especially with like TikTok and Pinterest.
I mean,
and
here
all
you have
those
all of
social
these.
mediums. I mean, I realize people see things online, but first of all, no one designer is going to design what everybody else is designing, because they want to put their own spin on it. Number one. Number two.
Like I said, my ex-wife used to do this. Why won't you do it for me?
Right. That's right.
Nope.
Do that.
That's your ex-wife, baby.
They're sourcing things that they're not customarily used to sourcing, so they have to spend a lot more time doing it. They have designers that have to spend their time. There's seasons. There's all of the facets that goes along with it, and yes, there's money, but there's also credibility and making sure that you're providing as a company, you want to put out the quality of product that you feel comfortable with. You can't expect everybody to put out a quality
because it's your product.
It's different because it's your product, not the other person's product.
So what do you say to people like caterers, right? We get all of us have gotten this before. It's like, I don't want to sign a caterer because I haven't gotten to try their food yet. I mean, it's a question that happens constantly. Oh, yeah. And I say,
can I come eat at the restaurant and have a lunch for free?
Right. Yeah. You know what? I've never tried your restaurant before. So would you feed me? And then I promise I'll come back and eat.
References of the past 20 brides that we've had last week that would rave about our food. Call them.
Right. So so that's the thing. It's like, how do you explain that to people? It's like, look, I wouldn't present people that I think would do a shitty job. It's like, okay, food is food. Yeah, kind of.
Right.
But the general sense is that I'm going to make sure that they're the right kind of caterer for that particular person or taste or budget. I mean, that's my job. That's my job, is to separate that stuff out. I mean, I just love the way you said that. Hey, your restaurant just opened. I haven't eaten here. Like, would you feed me lunch first? I just, I mean, what do you...
That brings us to a bigger problem, that the wedding industry in itself, we've done this to us. We've set ourselves up as something that is looked at as this oddity and not like every other business.
Right.
You would never walk into a restaurant and say that. And I've said this before, I'm pretty sure on the show, you would never walk into your dentist and be like, I don't like this resin you use. Do you have something cheaper that we could do? Or I know you said I need all 4 teeth done, but could you just give me the glue and I'll go home and do it myself? I mean,
or can we do it and I'll see how I like it?
Right. We don't walk into Macy's or any store like that and be like, but how much money did it cost you really to make this shirt? Because we're charging me to. So we have set this industry up to where it's okay to look at it that way. And we're no different than any restaurant or department store or any other company that runs the same, but we've allowed that mentality to affect us. And that's where we're in situations like this. But I'm just very clear. No, I don't do them. No, I don't do mock-ups. One of the things I said before is that when people are like, but, why did you hire me? Because I saw you on Instagram and I loved your stuff and everybody said how amazing you were. And
exactly. Well, take me for that.
Like, do you think I'm going to stop with your wedding? No. So just trust me, I got it. Because trust is huge in this industry.
Yes.
And I think that that's really
Totally
what
agree.
it boils down to. If you as a business owner are marketing right, vetting right, communicating right,
Yep.
you should be able to establish a level of trust. Okay. I'm not saying that no bride ever comes in and tells me what she wants, but because of the way that I have vetted my clients and the way that I present myself into the world, is
Right.
because of my transparency and because of all the openness and everything that they see, they trust me. And
Right.
so I have brides that come to me and say, "What should I do?" And I'm like, "This," you
You're
know,
like,
and that is the
you're like,
culture I
jump.
wanted. So that is the culture I created.
Right. But the problem is I keep saying the problem that I think that the communication error comes in multiple small ways, multiple small conversations. It's the moment that we say yes instead of pausing and saying, give me some time. It's the moment of saying, I'll get back to you tonight versus give me a couple of days. I mean, I feel like the communication isn't one big grand conversation that we have with their clients. It's multiple conversations that we go, yes, 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 yes. And then all of a sudden we've learned, it's like the kitty. Don't feed the kitty. If you feed the kitty's going to keep coming back. So stop feeding the kitty. And that we're feeding kitty. I mean, one of the things that I'm just having to go through actually with the client is timeline about when things need to be done. I mean, their wedding's not until 2024. And we have already got every single vendor booked, everything done. And within like 6 weeks. And she's like, well, now what? I said, well, now you sit on your ass.
Enjoy.
There's nothing for you to do. And they're like, well, should we meet florist? I'm like, no, it's not until 2024. And that was a monster I created. Because I was so like, boom, boom, boom. All right, here's your photographer list. Take a look. Tell me what you want. Okay, we met with all of them. Okay, here's your floral list. Who you like? Okay, we booked all that. I mean, and now I've got a bride that I've got to keep busy until 2024.
In the beginning, let me tell you, if in the beginning, and y'all heard me talk about this in my vetting and my communication, if in the beginning, either in a phone call with that bride or through an email sequence, you would have explained to her, hey, you're not getting married in 2024. So this is the way we work here. We go balls to the wall. We're going to, you know what? We're going to get it all taken care of so that you have the next year to just chill out and just enjoy your engagement. There is no you're going to be like Keith who by the time you have that year break.
God bless you.
You're going to be like, oh my gosh, because it's going to be so pristinely done in this 3-month time period that you're going to be good to go. You've set that expectation for her to where when that last vendor's done, she's like, okay, bye, Keith.
Bye.
See you in a year. Do you see what I'm saying? It's an expectation that when we have brides that ghost us, disappear, and are pain in the ass, it's usually, and you said it, and you were like, I'm so proud of you. You're like, I did it. We have
it's totally my fault.
Whether it's negative or it's positive. So learn how to set the expectation straight out the gate of what to expect. This is how I work. Don't call me every 5 minutes. I will fire you as a client. Like whatever you need to put in there to set the expectation, do it.
All right. So here's another scenario. So I have a client that, and God bless, I hope they're not listening to this, but I bet they probably are. But if they know who I'm talking about, then maybe it's a warning to them. But we went balls to the wall, boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden I got radio silence for like 6 weeks. 6 weeks, and I'm emailing them, hey, just checking in, we haven't finally decided, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden when they came back, they're like, can we get everything done tomorrow? Do you have time to meet with us in like 2 days? Can we do the tasting like this weekend? Like, no, I can't do all that. I need at least 2 weeks to set up your tasting, and we're lucky if we get that. I mean, we need time. How do you respond to people like that? When you're like, look, I because I feel bad as a planner. I'm like, oh, I wish I could make the world stop for you. I want to do that. I love doing that. Actually, I feel good when I do that, but that's not every day.
All right, Marcy, what do you have to say on that? And then I'll jump in.
Okay, I'm going to minimize myself.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I just like to be clear with people. And as I said before, you under promise, over deliver. But I think that you need to set the expectation about, okay, when we need to set up appointments, we need to give, X amount of time, whether it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, let's give it, because we don't know when we can get on their schedule. We have other people involved that we have to get on their schedule with and your schedule. We want to make it work from everybody's schedule.
Right.
So that's one. I mean, the other thing is you just want to make sure that they're being responsive. If they're not being responsive, just say, is everything okay? I mean, from you, I haven't had any messages from you. I'm just checking in. Can you, if you can't call me, just send me a message via email, or, if you take text, they can text you.
Don't say text.
I don't text.
I had to get away from that. I
don't like to text people because I like things. I like to have a running sequence.
I want a record.
Yes.
And text message.
Exactly.
I don't get a record.
And if it's something that happens a lot, Marcy said exactly what I was going to say. And if it's something that happens a lot with other clients, talk about it in the beginning. Like your clients, when they sign on, should basically get a manifesto from you saying, this is what the process is going to look like. Okay. Right. And at some point in there, exactly what Marcy said, setting up appointments with clients, it take a minimum at 2 weeks. So be patient. We got to get on their schedule. So, hey, you're setting that expectation that you can't just call me and be like, can we meet tomorrow? And,
right.
Maybe they do anyways, and you make magic happen because you want to look like the hero. Great. But you've already set the expectation that that's not going to happen. Okay. So you're over delivering.
Right.
And maybe you even have a thing in there that says, I know that this time's extremely busy for you, but please do your best to be responsive when I reach out to you, because everything is time sensitive. And if I'm reaching out to you, I need answers from you. Or maybe it's so much as, with this specific bride, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't get them tomorrow yet. It takes 2 weeks. But during that 6 weeks that I emailed you every single day, I had a couple of these scheduled and I just had to cancel them because I got no response from you.
Yeah.
I mean, I do that all the time. Yeah.
Therefore, it's going to take a little extra time to get these people back on Team You, because I couldn't, in a nice way, basically put it back on them. Like, bitch, I've been trying to do my job.
Right.
Radio silence for 6 weeks.
But
I have no problem saying that.
I'm going to admit
when you
that I have
send them
a little
contract, when you send them a contract, there is a deadline on that contract, right?
Right.
So the same thing would hold true for an email. If you're waiting for a response, like I send out if I send a client a proof for them to review and make sure that everything is okay before they go to print, I always say, this is time sensitive and your order is on hold until you sign it.
I love your emails. They're very inclusive of a lot, but I mean, there's a lot of information there. Yeah. And I do suffer from savior complex. I really do. I suffer from savior complex in a big way. Do you? Do you too?
I do too. I want to be there. I'm a 7. Hello.
What did you call that? A savior complex?
A savior complex.
Savior complex.
Yeah, savior complex. I'm going to save you. I'm going to save you.
We find value in being the hero.
Yes.
Through rescuing people. Oh, nobody can do this. I can. Watch.
I can. Watch. I got you.
Yeah, we will savior ourselves into a dark hole.
Right.
So I do too, but I had to really come to, terms.
Come to Jesus.
That my natural instinct is that. But then I don't know if it's because of my age or what, but I just kind of came to terms with the fact that it was damaging me.
Yeah.
And the
100%.
only thing that I love more than saving you is me.
Saving me.
And it has to be that way. It is the only thing I love more. So if I can do it and not damage myself, I'm here for you. And I still struggle with it every single day. But I had to stop and say, is this savior moment going to exasperate me, damage my family for doing it, lose money? I have to kind of do those checkpoint things through that. And if it's yes to any of those, then I'm sorry, I can't, and I have to be okay with it. And I will mull it over.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. I hate the word no.
You hit it totally on the head with that one.
I'm like, it makes me sick when I have to say no to something. I really do. It makes I literally my stomach actually turns. I'm like, oh no.
But I was one of those. I was that. And then I realized if I don't CeCe said it best. You're damaging yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, too
So
late.
that's why I
Sun on
realized.
Liquor did that. Sorry. Okay, so let's talk about the good stuff. So CeCe,
Yes.
what's coming up for you? What's going on? Because we talked a little bit about Wedding MBA. What else is happening in your world? Because you're just all over the place right now.
I'm trying to be.
Because let's talk. Your TikTok is. We're gonna say it here. It's gonna go viral. I'm just telling you.
Yes,
your TikTok's
that's
gonna
what
go
I
viral.
want every single person within the sound of our voice to do. Go follow me on TikTok, like all of my videos. Go tap, follow, save some things. I am CeCe, CeCe Designs, CeCe. I mean, real creative. I'm the CeCe of CeCe Designs on TikTok. So it's CeCe Designs, CeCe on TikTok. Come follow me, love on me, all the things.
CeCe Designs, then the letter C, the letter C.
No. Why would you jack it up like that, Keith?
I don't know. I'm just trying to put it on here for you.
It's CeCe Designs, CeCe.
That's TikTok.
Yeah, and that's on TikTok.
Gotcha.
And then, of course, you can always go to my Instagram and get like a one-on-one. I'm about to send Keith a bill for me and Marcy doing all of his therapy today.
I know, it's so good. Look, I had a shitty week, so
look, but you can go to my Instagram, go to my link tree. You can always get a one-on-one. It's one of my favorite things to do is just schedule like a one-on-one, a mind, what do they call it? A pick your brain session, whatever. And just people can call and ask me like, hey, what do you think about this? Or how do I do this? Or how do I fix this? Or you can also always come join CeCe School. That's all in my link.
That's right. Hello. You got CeCe School. Oh my God. Tell us a little bit about that because that's amazing. I love that.
CeCe School has been an ongoing school that I started about 3 years ago. It's a monthly membership group that I teach in live. So it's not pre-recorded videos like so many other people's groups. It's live. And we do it once a week. We either have design teaching. We have a business teaching where I yell at them about all the things that we just talked about. We have a guest speaker come a lot of times. Like David Tutera is coming this year to talk to everybody.
I love David. Yes, we love
then we will have what's just called like office hours, and that's where I put my computer on for an hour, and just like we are right now, and whoever pops on can ask me questions about whatever, if they want me to work on pricing with them, a collateral, like whatever. I've done it all. So that's what we do.
That's amazing. And by the way, I really that your most recent post with the white flowers and the with the big golden crystal chandelier. I'm like literally looking at the picture of it right now with the feathers and stuff. It's gorgeous. Oh my God. That's freaking fantastic.
Seen that one.
I would love to tell you I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. My husband is my social media manager and handles all of that for me. So
it's amazing. It's gorgeous. I have to tell you, your work is absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't checked her out, you got to go to CeCe Designs LLC. That's important when you go to Instagram. It's CeCe Designs LLC and go and just check out her stuff because it's incredible. So is there something else coming up, like an appearance outside of MBA that you're looking forward to?
Not really. I've got like a lot of things in the works.
I know I'm trying to get her to spill the beans about something, but I'm not gonna make her do it. So okay.
I got a lot of things in the work. I'm talking to some people about some things, but I mean, it's never definite until like it's out for
sign the paper, give me my check.
Sign the paper and the deal.
Right. So there's always something brewing. I'm doing a lot of influencer stuff. I'm a Crayola educator, and trying to do.
What is that?
What is that?
Oh my God, I wish we had more time. I'd tell you all about it. But Crayola hired me to be one of their educators, and they send me Crayola stuff all the time. And in the beginning, I could not figure out, like when they asked me to teach with them, I was like, I don't really know how crayons and weddings go together. Like I'll
figure it out. I'll put shavings on the table.
Right.
I mean, what do you want?
I could not figure it out.
I'll do
And
paper
so,
mache. I'll rip that paper off of those crayons, make paper mache.
But then I had this epiphany that so many brides struggle with color. You know, how many times do our brides come in and they're like, well, white, because it's what you're supposed to have at your wedding. And you're like, no. And so what I did is I kind of pitched to Crayola that I wanted to start this concept that is tell me your Crayola color story, to where brides or anybody who's having an event, the only thing you need, will you be one of my boxes, Jacob?
That's incredible.
That the only thing you need to start planning your wedding or to conceptualize your wedding or your event is to start with your colors. And the only thing you need to figure that out is a box of crayons. If you go to the grocery store and buy a box of 64 crayons, throw them out. Well, these are markers, but like,
doesn't matter.
Hand me the crayons. Let me show them real quick. If you throw them out on the table, especially a 64, pick like colors that speak to you, and then find 5. I always tell people to find 5 colors that look good together, and just start drawing them out. And if those colors look good to you, then that's your wedding color palette. So,
Marcy, what? Come on. You know, you and I are both doing the same thing. Like what?
Like color of kindness. This is one of my favorite ones. So I teach them through like a little downloadable that we have to take these colors, take these crayons and kind of lay them out and say, you know what? I really want purple in my wedding. Great. Well, what looks good with purple? Okay. So maybe this with a little bit of, you know, I want a muted palette. So this isn't 5, but like, look, if you take,
oh my God,
like what a pretty color palette that is.
So smart. This
Very
is so
smart. I needed
smart.
that when I was coming. I'm doing in the middle of rebranding my colors and my logo.
I feel
and
so
all that.
stupid right now.
That's a great idea. So if you're meeting with a client, you can take out a box of crayons and tell them to start picking their favorites.
I know. I feel like such an idiot. What an easy idea, and how smart.
It really, really is. And if you especially the 64 box, what I call the OG box, because it has like literally every color in the rainbow. Listen, I know, like this is your homework. Go look at my TikTok today and on my Instagram. Go look at my reels, because there's at least 3 reels on there to where I show you the box. And then I show you the colors that I pulled out. And then I show you what the wedding looks like that is based off of that color palette.
So fabulous.
That is awesome.
That is so fabulous. I am
and
so
like, holy crap, that's like adults we can reach. I'm like, right? So
that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, poop. I should have been able to like grab a box of Crayola crayons and get your color palette. How easy.
And this is how you convince brides that like color looks good in weddings. It doesn't just have to be white and blush.
God, I love that. What a simple and lovely idea that is. Man.
And then you come up with like 5 colors like I have here.
Look at that. Right? But see, that's what I'm talking about. And so that's why I love talking to you, CeCe, because we never know what's going to pop up.
I love that.
It is an amazing idea.
There will be on my website. I'll send y'all a copy of it, the scannable code, to where you can get the worksheet, which is super friendly to just use. And it walks you through finding 5 colors, but usually I say 4 colors in a metallic, because we always need that accent color.
Yep.
So, but at bare minimum, and then that stops like red and white weddings. Purple and white weddings. No, pick 5 colors. Okay, you got to have 5 colors, even if they're monochromatic. You know, maybe it's all different shades of greens and yellows, but it's monochromatic.
But beautiful.
So I'll send it to you, but there should be a link, I think, on my link tree that they can go and get the Crayola worksheet from me also.
Okay.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Oh my God, CeCe, thank you guys so much. I mean, this is exactly what I needed. I had to tell you, this is exactly what I needed to be with my girls and talking about, have a little bitch session online. So so what, 50,000 people listening to it.
We made them feel better too.
Yeah,
They were
that's
having a
exactly.
bad week.
You know, just me. Anyway, we got to hear about Crayola, and also I just love the fact that we got to be real and really talk about like what life really is like. And
Yeah.
yes, we want everybody's wedding to be amazing, but understand that there's going to be hurdles in your personal life, and your team is going to be there. And if it happens on your team side, the team will be there.
Absolutely.
Right? All right, my guys. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening to Behind the Veil again. CeCe, if people wanted to reach out to you, how do they do that?
Tell them to come find me on my Instagram, which is CeCe Designs LLC. Also, you can go to my TikTok, which is CeCe Designs CeCe. You can also find me on Facebook and Pinterest and all the other things. You can just check out my website, which is CeCeDesignsLLC.com.
And how about you, Marcy Gutenberg? How do people find you?
They can find me at An Affair to Remember by Marcy.com or Facebook or Instagram at An Affair to Remember by Marcy.com. I've recently changed everything so that it's easy for people to remember one item. And actually, I learned that from you, Keith.
Thank you. Thank you. Somebody actually learned something from me. Look at that. Oh my God. Somebody listening to me. It's going to fail miserably. Anyway. And if you want to check out for Behind the Veil, just go to YouTube for Behind the Veil by Keith Willard. You'll find all of our stuff, or look us up on any of your podcast. What do they call those? I almost wanted to say performers.
Podcast forums.
Thank you. Podcast forums.
Stations.
Anyway, so thank you so much. We'll be back next Tuesday at 2:00. But for now, say goodbye.
Goodbye.